Hi, everybody. So, as with all of our other topics, we're going to reinforce what we've learned by doing an example, this time as a form. So, first, we're going to have to decide what is the purpose of our page. For example, I want to make a register page for a car magazine. All right, so let's say that I want this magazine page to send us out an email as soon as news about our favorite brand is released. So I'm going to want this page to have a design like this. So once you know the purpose, preparing it can be as fun as putting together puzzle pieces. So let's get started combining the pieces of our puzzle. So let's open up Atom. And of course, without having to say it right, we got to write HTML, press the tab key to create the HTML structure. Now, first of all, we'll need to state that we want to make a form page. And for this, we can just add a form tag and then add everything that we're going to add to that. So now determine the title of our page. So then the header of our page is Car Magazine Register. So yeah, for now, the first part is to create the name, surname. And the fields are text types, so we'll just write input and press the tab key. And we'll use the name and value fields here soon. And let's add a label here to tell users what data they need to enter into this field. We'll add the label tag for this. And then, as you know, we can add for and ID attributes to indicate which field this label belongs to. Add name, surname to them. Let's have a look at our page quickly. Not so bad, huh? So now we can add the placeholder attribute to be an example of how to fill this text field for our user. And we're going to want to write your name and surname into this field. So if we write George William here, it'll be better understood by the user. All right, so now it's time to create our second piece, which is the mail field. And as you can see here in our plan design, we have wanted to design the email field with just two boxes. So one of them will be for the mail address and the other one will be for the mail extension. So for our first field, we'll add a text type input field. We add the @ sign next to this field, and then we add the select field for mail types. So we are adding the three most common types of mail here for an example. You can, of course, increase this number if you want to. And let's have a look at our page again. And there you see that the added fields are there, but let's put the mail field down a row. Now you know that all we have to do is add a BR tag. And now we can write our label for this area and connect to our label again. Now let's ask our user to set a password. So for this, we will create a new password type field. Now create our other area, the gender selection area. So we have an input tag for this, but this time it is a radio button type. Now, since we want to add three pieces, we can copy and paste it 3 times, and then we can add our labels and connect. And if you want to delay further, filling in the name fields we left for later, we can start filling them. And then next, fill in the value field, and that'll let us know what value the user chooses. Now it's time to gather the date of birth of our user. So for this, we can add a new input tag of the data type and a label for it. So as you can see, once you get used to it, everything's quite easy. So I think that's pretty much the screen structure that we want. Yeah. Now, we do have one last thing, which is the submit button. And it's enough for us for right now just to add an input tag of the type submit. So if that's as far as we want to go visually, we can now let's add what will be called an added function. For example, there are going to be areas that we're going to want to have as an absolute necessity, right? So for this, it's enough to write required in the tags. So let's see. Yeah, so do not allow registration without these fields being filled. Now, one thing we do need to do is to make the user enter a password in the character range that we want to specify. So to do this, we'll just use the pattern attribute. For example, if we want the user to set a password between 4 and 8 characters. All right, so now our form page, I think, is ready to save. As you know, we were determining which page of our form page to go with the action attribute. So send it to the Wikipedia homepage that we frequently use in our course. And naturally, we just did this just for an example for now. But don't worry, because we will see the details about this in our next courses. All right, so this is the end of this lesson. So just to recap, we've created a registration screen, and that completes this idea of how you set up a form in HTML. And you know what that means? That means that we have talked about everything that we needed to talk about in HTML. In other words, we've completed the first step of front-end development. So now you have all the information to prepare a basic web page in HTML. After that, it's time to finesse and add the visuals to our pages with CSS and then to provide functionality with JavaScript. So, goodbye for now, and I'll see you in the next lesson.